Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. My name is Lui Piluso. You are at my recording studio, and today I want to share with you my vocal template, my vocal chain for mixing, only using plugins.
The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire would make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like you, and I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. No, I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love.
So the song I'm going to use today is a cover of the song Wicked Games by Isaak. That is a song that I actually covered myself for a collaboration that I did with Fender for a new launch of guitars that you can find the video up here, and I'll leave it also below in the description. In that video you can see how I recorded all the song and all the different instruments, which microphones I use for the vocals and stuff. And today I want to show you how I mixed those vocals and my Pro Tools template. So if you like this kind of tutorials, let me know below. I usually do gear review videos, but if you also like tutorials, let me know below what kind of tutorials would you like to see in this channel. So the first thing I do is that I have audio channels for the literal audio file that I'm going to use with the recording, and that's where I'm going to record my different vocals. Let's change this to red so you can have it different. There you go. So that's my audio track. That's where I'm going to have sometimes tuner plugin if I need to, and also kind of correction plugins for the vocals. And then all of my lead vocal channels are going to go to one auxiliary channel that is going to have only processes. So EQ, saturation, and compression, gate, and all those kind of things. So that's where we're going to mold and give the shape to our main vocal, and then from there I'm going to send it to different auxes and different delays, reverbs, and modulation plugins. So first of all, let's have a listen to the raw vocal, and I'll start adding things in and explaining why I use this stuff.
The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire would make foolish people do.
So let's turn off the effects.
The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire would make foolish people do.
So this is my lead aux on its own. So I have all these plugins here, and usually when I import them as a template, what I do is I have them all inactive, and I'll start activating one by one and configuring it for each song. I like very much this expander setting on the C1 gate from Waves Audio, and you just move the threshold until you see where the breath comes in, and this is something I want to tame right at the beginning and lower the volume of the breath and all of the background noise between lines, so when I start adding compression, things don't go out of control. Then I use an EQ to kind of correct a little bit of my vocals. I take out the low end that I don't need, below 68 in this case. Some cases I go higher. Then I'm using a little bit of a dynamic EQ for 150 to open the vocal a bit more. Then I'm taking out around 2500 hertz. That is that kind of whistly frequency that is quite annoying sometimes, so I can then add more top end and it not becoming like such a resonant annoying track. Then I use a de-esser, which is going to tame my S's. What I'm trying to do here is just reduce -3 to -6 dBs every time there is an S. I find that 3500 hertz is usually one of the best places to tame those really harsh frequencies. Then I'm going through a tube compressor or tube emulation compressor. They're from Arturia. They are very good. It's quite a soft one. I'm only reducing like from 5 to 10 dB. Then I'm using a FET compressor 76, also from Arturia, with a fast attack and a fast release, which is only grabbing those louder vocals that come through from and just making everything more even and fatter. I'm only reducing also like 3 dBs, 5 max. Then I'm using a Soothe plugin to take out some of the resonances from the top end and from the low end, trying to make everything more soothe, as they call it. Then I'm using the Vertigo plugin that is a very good saturator. I usually find that it makes your vocals sound way more expensive. And then I have the Mag EQ for bringing out the top end a bit more, and a de-esser at the end of the chain to be able to tame everything we boosted. I'm going to turn everything off and start bringing it in, and you'll hear the differences. Amazing.
The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. It's strange what this I would make foolish people
we start gaining some volume with the compression.
No one could save me but you.
I keep gain staging and adding more gain as I go through.
It's strange what this I would make
The Soothe
foolish
plugin.
people
Now
do.
listen to this. This is a saturator.
I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like. The world was on fire, no one could save me but you.
Really interesting. Then the Mag EQ that I think is awesome. It just brings your vocals out in a mix.
The world was on fire, no one.
Obviously there's small volume because what I'm doing is kind of tilting the frequency response and adding lots of top end.
The world was on fire, no.
This in context with the track is amazing.
The world was on fire, no one could save me but you.
The vocal sticks out. Then at the S to tame the high frequencies.
The world was on fire, no one could save me.
So this is just a little tad that we're adding. So now that we have our vocals processed, we want to start adding some modulation, delays and reverbs. For that, from my main aux channel, my VX lead aux, I'm sending some sends over to some effects, and I have them on separate channels. And those channels are also aux channels, and they are not audio channels. So I can't record on them, but I can have audio pass through them. So the idea here is that we're not going to use only one effect plugin and rely 100% on that. We're going to create our own ambience, and we will do that combining different types of reverbs and delays and modulation. So first of all, we have our delay spread. So I want to use this to open up my vocals and make it sound wider. So I have the famous hash effect. You have to put the delay in milliseconds and around 50 milliseconds. And also I'm going to invert one of the polarities of the right channel. Like, you can do either, and this will automatically sound a little bit out of phase, but it'll make it sound wider. And if the sound is coming behind you, it's a really nice trick. It doesn't translate too much to mono, but when you're listening in stereo and you want that big stereo vocal, it works great. And also I'm taking out frequencies below 300 and above 500. This is key. Very, very, very important, because this will allow you to have that spread only in your mids, and it won't trigger every time you have like an S or a consonant. This is really important. Then we have a Vox double that is just a little template that one of my mentors called Hernan Calvo sent me. He's a great mixer and great engineer, and it's just a combination of different very small delays with a stereo width, more delays, taking out some low end, then adding a bit of pitch shifting, individually, and then more delays. And these are very, very subtle things that once you start piling them up, it will make an effect. Let's hear how that sounds with and without. So
no one could save me but you.
This is with the spread. Without the spread,
it's strange what this I would make foolish people do.
So it makes it sound like you're in a room, and it's really nice. It really makes everything sound fatter and wider. This is really one of those key things that separate amateurs from professional mixers, how wide the mix sounds, especially like in mono channels, like a vocal that you want it straight up the middle usually. So this helps to gather a bit more of the stereo information and still keeping your mono signal. And then we have a plate reverb. The Arturia one I really like. It's really good. Something that is key about this is that this reverb, I'm using it in a long setting, very, very wide. The mix is 100%. And something that is key here is I'm using the equalizer as well. I'm taking out lots of low end and taking out lots of high end as well. So I'm taking everything above 900 hertz and taking everything out from below 500. So I'm just leaving 400 hertz with this reverb for the mids and allowing the vocal to gain more depth without you hearing that reverb. So let's check it out. This is with
no one could save me but you.
Without.
It's strange what this I would make.
So it adds a little bit of depth, and let's hear how it would sound without the equalizer.
No one could save me but you.
It's really nice, but it's overwhelming.
It's strange what this I would.
Then I'm using a little bit of a space echo to add a little bit of delays. It's in a ping pong mode, taking out a little bit of the treble, and I have it in dotted eighths. And this is very subtle as well. It just adds a little bit of a tail to the end of each line.
No one could save me but you.
You can hear the you. Then we have a very special reverb trick that I call it the Unforgettable. And it's an aux that I created from being inspired by a mix that Jason Joshua did of the song Unforgettable that has like this great reverb that comes around you. And I once saw an interview of him where they asked him about this mix, and he gave an answer and said a couple of things that weren't really translatable exactly to the plugins. So I tried to make it as similar as I could and a little bit different. I always suggest that whenever you see a tutorial, you take whatever you see and you add your own spices to it and make it your own. That's really important, so you can be original as well. And what this is doing is adding like a little reverb that comes around you. So if we listen to it on its own,
no one could save me but you.
It's nice to hear with headphones on. And now if we add the reverb and the delays, we'll make a whole effect chain only of this kind of combinations.
No one could save me but you.
So something that's really cool is that you have delays going on, you have a reverb going on, then you have this other reverb coming and swirling around you. So that special reverb, the Unforgettable one, is an H delay. You can copy my settings here if you have the same plugins. Deverb, H delay again, deverb again, brow emotion, that is what is giving it like the surround feeling, and some EQ, taking out the lows and taking out the highs. You can really see a pattern here in my mixing chain that I take out a lot of lows and a lot of highs on my effects and just leaving the frequencies that I want to be affected with. Then I have this little trick that comes from Dave Pensado from a very old tutorial he made years and years ago, maybe a decade ago. That the idea behind this is that you modulate the high frequencies and then you add it like in a parallel. So I'm taking out all the low frequencies, adding a de-esser so it doesn't become harsh, Then with the effect rack of the sound toys, I'm adding a bit of decapitator and micro shift. This will add some chorus to our vocals and make it sound wider, and we tame the shit out of it with a de-esser. And then what else? And that will allow you to have like this wider top end, which is really nice, very subtle as well.
No one could save me but you.
I don't always notice, I don't always use it. It's nice to just add a little bit to it. It always helps making it sound wider. This is something that, those kind of small tricks, you don't really notice them unless you cancel one of your sides, and you can actually hear what is happening only on the sides and not in the mono channel. So that is a trick to make things sound wider, but it's really hard to perceive sometimes, but it is happening. And then I have a delay throw that it comes from an Echo Boy, that is a delay from Sound Toys, and then a reverb from Arturia. And between both of them, what I'm doing is automating the main chorus. So whenever I say, and I, that line will just go on forever. And that's why it's automated like this.
You know I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love.
So whatever I use for a throw, they are usually very long reverbs, very long delays. And then, like I mentioned before, this is a template I have because I work as a mixing engineer as well as a producer. So what I usually do is whenever I liked a vocal chain I used on a song, I'll just save it as a save copy in, and this will allow me to select only the tracks that are selected, and I won't check the audio box file, and that will just save an empty session with this chain. I usually do it with everything inactive, so I just right click and put make inactive, and that will allow me to import the template without it overloading the processing from the computer. Let me know what you thought about this. If you like the tutorials, if you want more tutorials, what do you want tutorials about? I'm more than enough for sharing my sessions. If you also want to know what the recording chain for the vocal was, that was very, very interesting, I'll leave you the video I did for Fender, where I actually explain how I recorded every instrument. And also, if you're interested in working with me on your own songs, I'll leave a link below in the description, which you can get in contact with me and we can talk about working on whatever you want from your own music. I'll see you in the next video. Leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. My name is Lui Piluso and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.